Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Oh, the Ilblurmatic. Welcome back to another installment of Ilblurmatic, and today we are doing a full series review on one of my favorite anime shows on Netflix. As we speak, I've enjoyed season 1. Now I'm on season 2, so let's get right into it. I am talking about one of my favorite shows, Beastars, and let's talk about this show in season 2 and maybe a little bit about season 1. I'm not going to say too much about it, but I'm going to let you know a little bit like the differences between season 1 and season 2. So let's get right into it. So this beginning of the season starts off with Tim. We know Tim was murdered by one of the other students at the high school. And we also know that this school has a social hierarchy. You have the carnivores, you have the herbivores. And throughout the season, I felt like there's always some tension amongst the herbivores and carnivores. But we have to realize that the school has not found out who killed Tim. But there is like a little, I guess you could say, a makeshift grave at the school honoring Tim. And I think Legashi, like, honestly, the first part of this series of season 2, Legashi was guilty. He felt like he may have killed Tim because, let's be honest, remember Legashi he's a wolf. And wolves are naturally animals that eat other animals. And Legashi feels some type of way. He's like, yo, like, did I really kill Tim? Like, I grew a bond with him, despite him being a herbivore and I'm a carnivore, because, you know how herbivores and carnivores kind of are in this world. He's like, we're sworn enemies, you know what I'm saying? But I bonded with this guy. He's a very close friend of mine in this drama club in the high school I'm in. And we see that Legashi learns that maybe I didn't kill Tim. You know, he has like second doubts. You know what I'm saying? He eventually realizes like I couldn't have killed Tim. You know, and I think because Legashi has this keen sense, the people that he really cares about, he keeps their actual scent as a wolf, and I think it's really cool. I thought like when they explored, I was like, wow, okay, Legashi kind of can remember people's senses, do smell, sense of the nose. And I was like, wow, okay, this is really cool. But also we see Legashi kind of feel like empty. We see an emptiness, a loneliness with Legashi. Ever since Louis left, he felt like the school wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you have a friend that you're bonded with in school and y'all are like super cool, despite you having some animosity sometimes, you know, you're not always gonna click with people right away. But Legashi felt like it's not the same without Louis. You know what I'm saying? Where is Louis? You know? And we see Legashi still close to Haru, the rabbit. And we see in the last season that it didn't go down like he thought it was going to go down. You know, he had feelings for Haru. Haru had feelings for him. But he was scared. You see that he loved this girl. You know what I'm saying? But the thing was, he like, do I really want to hurt her? We're natural enemies in the animal kingdom, right? And we see that there's also some tension at the school. There's moments where like literally the drama club closes at some point in the season. But also, let's talk about Louis. So Louis is the deer, the brown deer that we see, and you know, Louis' life changed since season 1. Louis did some things that, you know, made him not want to come back to school. You know what I'm saying? First off, he killed the head of the mafia, you know, pretty much. He killed the head of that person. And the thing was, like, how could I go back to school thinking like everything's going to return back to like a normalcy? That's not going to happen realistically. And Louis eventually suppresses his urges because he doesn't really have a best relationship with the carnivores. And he's kind of like, now I'm in this place. I can't go back to school because now I'll be a criminal and I probably won't be able to finish school anyway. So Louis gets into the black market. He's also, like I said, a mobster. Louis' life kind of took for a turn, you know what I'm saying? And it was all over Haru, you know what I'm saying? He went to go rescue Haru, killed the head of pretty much the carnivores mafia, and I was like, wow, the lions were something else, boy. I was like, I never expected Louis to kill anyone. I was like, what? Like, bro, just like, all right, I took him out. Y'all next, you know what I'm saying? Y'all want a piece of this? And we can see, you know, with Louis being in position of the Shishigumi, it was very interesting. Him being the leader of the Shishigumi. I was like, wow, bro, you really, you killed the top dog. You are the top dog. And, you know, it's interesting because the Lions, they kind of cater to him. You know what I'm saying? There's a catering to him despite him being a deer. And I love that we see that Louis literally is like, you know, when people are like, yeah, where's your boss? And they like, you looking at him. He's a deer. He's no longer a lion. I think we saw that. We also saw with Louis pretty much learning to have to pretend. He had to play a role, you know what I'm saying? Like he was, you know, he's eating meat and stuff. And it was funny because I was like, yo, my man's really got this play down packed, you know, and I was like, wow. And, you know, with him being a part of that, you know what I'm saying, they looked after Louis, you know what I'm saying, they protected Louis, they believed in him. He even had one lion, Ikabuki, and Ikabuki was like, hey, look, bro, I you know what I'm saying, I'm very loyal to you, the best times of my life with you. So he had someone that was really extremely loyal to him. And we saw that despite them being common enemies, that he has some type of respect for him. He's like, hey, I love how you bowed and everything to me. And I was like, wow. But also we saw that Legoshi eventually, you know, comes across Louis, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, between them, even though Louis is no longer a part of the school, I feel like, you know, Legoshi looked up to Louis. He's like, hey, look, man, you're going to be the next big Beastar at the drama club. And the thing was, you know, you see that there was tension between them because he didn't know if Louis was alive or not. Also, we see in this season, Tim, let's get right back to Tim. So Tim, we learn about Tim's backstory. I think this was really worked for season 2 for pretty much Beastars. Tim's story. Tim was real liked in the drama club, you know what I'm saying? He was extremely close to Legoshi. You know what I'm saying? I could see maybe why Legoshi had that guilt in the back of his mind, like, did I really kill Tim? Because I was really tripping last season with my carnivore senses and stuff like that. And you know, we learned about Tim's backstory, that he trusted another student that went by Riz. Riz is this brown bear that literally is kind of like, you know, you don't know, like at first you have like, oh, you know, he's innocent, he wouldn't do such a thing. But Riz plays a part of Tim's death. What I like about Legoshi this season, he goes to question other animal students to like who would have did such a thing to kill Tim. So Legoshi becomes a detective. He's like Zen Buddha going on here. And I like that Legoshi is learning to control his senses of urges of not trying to kill his natural enemies, thanks to the panda that he encountered last season, And I think that really worked because we needed some type of character development with Legoshi. We needed to see how things would turn out when he rescued Haru. And we see him be a little bit more empathetic. We see him be more detective. And he really cared about his classmates. Despite, you know, Tim being murdered by one of his classmates, Riz. But Riz's story ties into Tim's story. So Riz and Tim had a friendship, you know what I'm saying? Riz considered Tim his best friend on the actual, you know, in the school. And the thing was, Tim was afraid of Riz because of the animal he was. You know, Riz was an actual, you know, I think it was either a sheep or a lamb. And the thing was, when you think about it, it's like, yo, I can see why he had distrust in him. Like, this bear is towering over him. But Riz had a drug addiction. Literally, he had a drug addiction, and that's why he was so big of a bear. Also, the only way to control the rage that he had was honey. Honey was like, it was the craziest thing. I'm like, honey controls your rage? Because he was taking these muscle, like, painkillers, whatever you want to call them, and he couldn't control his urge as a carnivore. And what happened was Rim played right into his hand. Rim had befriended him. He, spent time with them. They were, he said Rim was like his best friend, you know what I'm saying? But he betrayed Rim. He did the unthinkable. Like, you killed your own best friend, man. You killed your own best friend, Riz. And Riz in this series, he's very, I guess you could say, manipulative. He tries to play on not just Legoshi, Pina, a sheep, and also, another character. And I was like, yo, like Pina's just like, hey, man, we know your secret, him and Legoshi. So it was really interesting that Pina and Legoshi knew Riz's dirty little secret. But his friends that he hung out with that were bears, they never knew that Riz was like that. They knew he was off the drugs. They didn't know that. They noticed that, but they did not notice that he killed him. And it was kind of weird, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, y'all hang out with him too, right? The other two bears. I'm like, y'all ain't paid no attention that he may have done something else, but he hit it so well. Riz is one of those people that is able to hide his emotions. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really show his emotion unless you're one of those people that knows how he truly is, because he felt like no one really knew who he was except for Tim. And we see pretty much Louis also returning. You know what I'm saying? Louis, throughout this season, we see him leaving the mob. I was like, yo, and it comes with a price. He's like, the Shishigumi, they're like, yo, you're our head boss. You just can't walk away from this and think like everything's gonna be, good. Nah, bruh, So Ikabuki pretty much was like, yo, it's either me or you, bruh, the other lion, you know what I'm saying? And literally, Louis had to kill Ikabuki because it was either he was gonna get ate or somebody was gonna get hurt. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, and Ikabuki was like Louis' right hand man. I was like, yo, you just killed your right hand man. And then there's another lion that say, yo, bro, like, hey, look, I understand you want to leave, but if this get out, bro, it's gonna be a problem. Cause I'm pretty sure with Louis leaving the actual mafia, like the other crime families are gonna look like, well, who's the new head of the Ikabuki? No one, you know what I'm saying? But also in this season, we see Juno. Juno's this female wolf that's kind of like not the love interest of Legoshi, but she has a big crush on him, and we see her character change in this series. She was extremely jealous of Haru the rabbit that Legoshi has a actual friendship with / relationship. I don't know how to explain that, but more so, she was jealous because she felt like Haru was extremely closer to Legoshi, and she was a wolf just like Legoshi, so she felt like she's the competition. But then she realizes that when she goes to visit Haru, literally she understands that Haru is a loner. There's no one a part of her club that she has that she's planting all these vegetables and stuff like that. And we can understand that Juno starts to understand like she's really in this by herself. And I think there's a sense of emptiness. Like Juno understood that Haru's only by herself. The other rabbits don't really like her. We saw that in season 1, how they picked on her and everything. And only saw her as I guess you could say, a muse. But, I think Legoshi just had an appreciation for Haru. Despite them being opposite animal species, we saw that. And I think Juno started to understand, like, she doesn't have anyone to confide in, and Legashi's the one that she confides in. They're really extremely close. But I gotta say, this season, it impressed me. You know what I'm saying? I thought wholeheartedly that Legashi killed him. I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I did like with this episode, we learned about the aftermath. What happened to Louis? Louis went to the black market, and ended up being a part of the mafia. Whereas Legashi went back to school like things were normal. Also, we see in this season the issues that Louis has with his, not his real father, but his adoptive father. You know what I'm saying? And the thing was, they didn't have the best relationship. He is someone that works at the school, and we see Louis pull up on him. He's like, hey, look, man. He's like, you can sign these papers, and I'm not coming back to school no more, or it's going to go down another way. You know what I'm saying? And I think he never felt like he was close to his adoptive father, because we see there's a distrust to him. He's like literally saying to himself, like, why am I even here? You know what I'm saying? I don't think I should even be here. But I love how his actual adoptive father is like, hey, look, man, if you really gonna do this, you need to be about it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa. And we see that Louis kind of realizes, like, I'm not gonna do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't pull the actual trigger to do what he was gonna do, because at the end of the day, he's like, I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? Despite this man got me out of the black market, because we gotta realize Louis was pretty much a black market child slave. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say what, but you know, that's what he was. He was a slave, and his freedom was bought when his, like I said, his adoptive father came and got him. You know what I'm saying? So the relationship is odd between them. I think he felt like he could never live up to his expectations, which I really kind of was like, okay, now we understand a little bit more about Louis' story. And I was like, it's kind of sad. But also, the ending, like the series, like I said, it was lengthy enough. 12 episodes was great, for it to be, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, they explored Juno's, changes, Legashi's changes, Rui's changes. We learned about Riz's backstory, Tim's story. I felt like we needed to know a little bit more about Tim's story. I felt like that, yeah, we knew Tim got killed season 1, right? But I felt like, we need more of who he was involved with. And I'm glad to say that they did that with this season. Also, let's talk about literally the ending piece. So, literally, Legashi, tells Louis, like, hey, look, man, I need you. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go fight Riz. He's like, oh, you found out who Tim's killer was, right? And he's like, yeah, I found out who he was. And we see Legashi go as disguised as a female wolf. I'm like, bruh. It's kind of weird that he went through this type of source. And he's kind of like, he looks up to, Legashi looks up to Louis. So you can understand, like, this man kind of influenced him, you know what I'm saying? But also we see Riz and pretty much Legashi face off. The first, part of the battle, we see Legashi kind of struggling. Because remember, Legashi, he's like, I don't eat meat no more. Regimen. You get what I'm saying? And I was like, come on, bruh, come on. And, the bear was kind of giving it to him. You know what I'm saying? The bear Riz was giving it to him. And the thing was, when they were going at it, it was kind of like interesting, because we seen Legashi kind of pay attention to his movements when he was fighting and stuff. And he also sensed out that Pina was alive. Pina hadn't been eaten by Riz. Riz, tricked him by having blood on his shirt and everything. And we see them fight off. And the thing is, literally, Riz tells his side of the story of why he befriended Tim. And it was kind of crazy, because I'm like, yo, like, you did all this and you just pretended that you wanted to be best friends with him just to eat him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, his carnivore urge kind of came in, And literally, you know, that was the thing. And Legoshi related to that. So, you know, the villain relating to the main character, that's the protagonist, was really interesting. I did see that because remember, Legoshi almost ate Haru. He, you know what I'm saying, he befriended her and everything. He was cool with her, but he had those urges in season 1. Season 2, they were completely gone because he started to change his style of life. You know what I'm saying? We got Zen Legoshi, Detective Legoshi, and I'm just like, yo, okay, we get it. Legashi's kind of becoming something very unique, and I'm just like, I like what they done with Legoshi this season. But we saw that, and towards the end, Riz, you know, said, hey, look, man, let's just call it for what it is. The police pulls up to the scene, and like I said, Peanut escapes, luckily, and not getting ate by Riz. And Riz confesses for his crimes, and probably is going to jail. The ending, we see Legoshi express his feelings for Haru. And, you know, this season, I kind of felt like they grew apart. You know what I'm saying? Legoshi kind of adapting a new lifestyle and trying to learn how to be a better person in this society where it's the herbivores, the carnivores that are clashing amongst one another in the school system and even outside the school system. And we see Haru break it off with Legoshi. Legoshi, you could tell he really loved Haru, but you knew it wasn't going to last because he wasn't expressing his feelings. He was suppressing his feelings, and that did not work out. You know what I'm saying? And we see Haru say, hey, look, I'm going to, you know, talk to someone else. I hope everything's okay. But also, Legoshi is a criminal. He can no longer be at the school. And it was like, yo, I knew it was coming though. I kind of knew Legoshi wasn't gonna like stay in school. And literally now he has to find a new lifestyle to adapt. You know, I got a feeling the guy that trained him to stop his craving for other animals, the panda bear, we're gonna see him probably end up going back to the panda bear house to probably reevaluate his life. I think with this season, solid story, character development. That's what I wanted to see for Beastars. The ending was very interesting, by the way. I was like, yo, this show was really good. It shows you the problems with, you know what I'm saying, with animals, social class. And also it showed you that, you know, everyone's path is different. You know what I'm saying? Legoshi path was originally loneliness. You know what I'm saying? Rui was more so to be empowered. You know what I'm saying? He loved being empowered, but he saw the price of that eventually because he had to turn on his closest you know, partner in crime, Ibuki of the Shishigumi. And I think that was crazy. Also, what I liked about this is we see Haru telling Legoshi that she's done with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm not interested in you anymore, and I'm gonna like move on. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like Haru harped on Legoshi, but she still had feelings for Louis. And I think with Juno, we saw something with her too, kind of having a different feelings for Haru and understanding her, having some type of empathy, excuse me. And I think that really worked for the show. But like I said, season 2 was really good, solid. I'm glad that we learned more about Tim this season too, as long as with the other characters as well. And like I said, I look forward to season 3. I think Beastars, for it to be an anime show on Netflix, it's definitely a standout. If you're into drama, little romance, supernatural, this may be up your alley. I think it's a thriller too. But I gotta give this show a 5 out of 5. I really liked the show and how it went. Each episode was kind of different. Like I said, we learned about the main characters, either the villain, Riz. So I really enjoyed it. Have you seen Beastars on Netflix? If you have not seen season 1, go check it out. And if you are on season 2, hey, power to you. But until next time, guys, it's Blurmatic. Have a great day. Thank you for support, Shooby. Oh, yeah.